recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios Brisbane on 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
With 10 years experience and over 500 episodes,
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture.
Want to reach out? Message us on Facebook at ZED Games AU.
Welcome to Zed Games. I am Paul, and joining me tonight is Peter.
Hello!
And hopefully Tobi on the...
Hey!
Hey! Oh,
I'm here.
Fantastic. Hi, Tobi.
Hello.
Oh, there is something nasty in my headphones at the moment. It's Tobi. Yes, this is Zed Games, a show where we talk about video games primarily, but sometimes other things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Topics do arise, and they are distracting.
Yes, I've had many topical creams in my day. That might not be the right format for that. Actually, you know what?
Yep.
Let's just eject out of here and get straight into some news.
Awesome.
This week in gaming news, Metacritic issues statement on Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores review bombing. Just a heads up, there will be some spoilers for Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores in the following 30 or so seconds. The Burning Shores DLC for Horizon Forbidden West released last week and was met with an onslaught of negative reviews on Metacritic. The reviews aren't complaining about technical issues or bad gameplay. These don't seem to be issues the game has, but rather about the whole woke agenda being forced upon players. During the events of Burning Shore, Aloy builds a relationship with a new character, Seika. A relationship that can then turn romantic, with the two sharing a kiss, if a specific dialogue option is selected. Some players found this optional scene truly offensive, and review bombed the DLC to a current score of 4.0 and a low of 2.7. Here's an excerpt from one of my favourites. Metacritic, delete my 0 out of 10 review. Freedom of speech. DLC look amazing, but it's boring as hell. It's unnecessarily DLC just to convert that Aloy into girls. That it. But nope, I completely disagree with the cause. In the USA, you have to do that with popular entertainment names. Otherwise, you will be cancelled for freedom of speech and facts. Metacritic/fandom has issued a statement about the situation, saying, "Fandom is a place of belonging for all fans, and we take online trust and safety very seriously across all our sites, including Metacritic. Metacritic is aware of the abusive and disrespectful views of Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores, and we have a moderation system in place to track violations of our terms of use." They also promised they would be making changes to their moderation process in the coming months, but it's not clear yet what that will look like. Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard blocked by UK. Britain's Competition and Markets Authority has blocked Microsoft's $104 billion Australian dollars takeover of Activision Blizzard. They claimed that allowing the deal to go through would alter the future of the fast-growing cloud gaming community and therefore lead to reduced innovation and less choice. Despite a strong response from the panel of experts that led the analysis, Microsoft vows to appeal the decision and fight for their acquisition to go through. Even if it can succeed in the UK, Microsoft still needs to gain approval in Europe and the United States before the deal can go through, and neither seemed close to a yes. Wizards of the Coast sends mercenaries after leaker. A YouTuber called Old School MTG managed to get their hands on the cards from Magic the Gathering's latest set, March of the Machine: The Aftermath, which was not expected to hit shores until May 12th, and revealed most of them in an unboxing video. Wizards of the Coast was quick to act, tracking the YouTuber down, confiscating the cards and having the video pulled. In a new video, The Aftermath of the Aftermath, Old School MTG claimed that the cards were not stolen, but had been given to him by a friend, who had believed that they were part of an already published set, and revealed that Wizards of the Coast sent the Pinkertons to retrieve the cards from him. You may recognise the Pinkertons as antagonists in Red Dead Redemption 2, but they are a very real private security firm with a reputation for being ruthless. Cannon claimed they intimidated him with threats such as a $200,000 fine and up to a decade of jail time if he did not cooperate. In response to the situation, Wizards of the Coast say they sent the Pinkertons as part of their investigation, and only after several attempts to call him went unanswered. After getting in touch with Wizards directly, they were far more understanding, and the two parties seem to have sorted out the situation. Regardless of how it all played out in the end, it is still alarming that the Wizards of the Coasts took the actions that it did. It is a clear overstep to send armed guards to intimidate a YouTuber, who, at the time, had around 4,000 subscribers. And there are 100 better ways they could have handled it. Upcoming game releases. April 18th, Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak comes to PlayStation and Xbox. Star Wars Jedi Survivor comes to PC and next-generation consoles. And Welcome to Goodland comes to PC. May 2nd, Age of Wonders 4 comes to PC and next-gen consoles. And Redfall comes to PC and Xbox S and S. This week's news was brought to you by Melee and read by Tobi. And that's all this week in gaming news.
Tobi, you were one of those people.
You were.
Oh, it was.
Yes.
I had fun. It was great.
Does it excite you?
I hope you guys enjoyed.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, I've heard. I've heard better news.
I think you did fantastic, Toby.
Yeah, like ones that don't
Thank
have
you.
hitmen going to YouTubers.
You send the
that's the
Pinkertons
bad
to
thing,
me
not you.
if I do a
You
bad
did
job.
fine.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Oh
they
god,
said
that was an
Pinkerton.
overreaction.
That just seems so over the top. It's like professional swatting.
Yeah, well, there are.
Oh my
services
god,
for
it
that
literally is.
It's like, more swatting, please.
Yes.
Good time.
We're gamers.
Yeah.
Yep.
What else happened news-wise? Yeah, I still don't see the Microsoft Activision Blizzard King thing not going through. It's just being held up a little bit.
Yep.
Because they just don't have like
Cloud.
I agree with
it's
it.
the
Like,
cloud gaming market.
yeah, like
Yes.
I don't like everything becoming mega companies, but also Blizzard Activision King suck. But aside from that, it's like they've let too many other major things go through without consideration. It would just be like, hey, why this one?
Yep.
Because we're making a point. But maybe we just need to start putting that foot down, saying, you know what, no more mega corporations.
Microsoft's definitely gone downhill in regards to its relevance in the media nowadays, and they're definitely trying to purchase their way back in by picking up all of these extra companies.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Bethesda. What was it, a year or two ago now?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and my Microsoft is certainly putting in like the yards, getting a whole bunch of developers, creating stuff, and being, without sounding like a complete shill, good value for money. Coincidentally, I have cancelled my Game Pass subscription now. So all those that said
I got one.
Yeah, all those people that said I was nothing but a shill, take that.
I swore I'd never buy it.
I was going to say, I was given one at some point. I never used it.
Yeah. Game Pass is great. The problem
I
is
was
I do
running.
most of my gaming on the Steam Deck now.
Yep.
And you just can't get that stuff to run on there without dual booting to Windows, and that's not really supported. And
Yep.
so, I mean, I can run Epic. I can run Steam. I can run GOG. I can run Itch. But yeah.
But according to the news last week, they are planning on doing something like that in the future.
They are looking at a more handheld friendly version of Windows.
Yep.
But not at the moment.
So Windows 8, got it.
Yes.
Yes.
But not
a handheld version.
Not anything that would
Yes.
just integrate into the Linux environment of thing. Although this is pure speculation on my part. I have nothing. I would not be shocked if Microsoft kind of brought Game Pass to Steam.
Yeah.
They
Just did some sort of
they already put
integration
all the
with it.
games on
You heard
there.
it here.
Yeah, you heard it here from Paul's completely unsupported mind powers.
Paul,
Oh, yeah.
I believe there's a Pinkerton agent at the door. You've just revealed some crucial information that Microsoft wanted kept secret.
Gosh, those Pinkertons, they're such a kooky lot. Okay,
Damn. Gosh darn.
speaking of some
Golly
kooky,
gosh, God darn it.
Yep.
speaking of some kookiness, we're going to get into some music now.
Ooh.
This song is from a new game that's just come out, an Aussie game, and why does its name disappear off here? It's by Brent Arnold. It's and should be nice and give him the whole name of his game on here.
Ah.
Jeez. It is called... Why are names so long? It runs off the side of the screen. Anyway, the name's called The Horse Dimension.
The Horse Dimension.
And after that, I have another kooky song, which is extremely exciting for me to say.
This is that secret level, other than the cow level. The Horse Dimension.
Actually, kind of, yes.
Right, got it. Got the reference. Good.
Yeah.
I was thinking
like
Annihilation, so.
Ah, true.
Well, I mean, they're both pretty fun. Okay, you'll get the give me the name later.
So you're listening to Zed Games, is that it?
You're listening to Zed Games.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Hello, you're listening to Zed Games.
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 Perfect. Thank you.
Also, it is April Atonement at 4ZZZ.
Yes.
That's the thing we do, which means all of your sins are absolved if you subscribe to 4ZZZ and give us money, especially us. Yes, earmark it that not just that we're your favorite show, but the money is for us.
Yes.
And it'll filter through. That's how it works.
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Totally.
It definitely will.
It filters through to keeping us on air and stuff.
Basically, yeah.
And during
Benefits
that,
us in some way.
thank you to Cheryl from Kelvin Grove during that little wacky
thank you, Cheryl.
boost of
Thank you.
of horses and kazoos.
Hey, Cheryl.
Yay.
Cheryl, I dedicate this centaur, half in, half out of a horse dimension to you. Good job.
Nice.
Good job, Cheryl.
Good stuff.
Go for a ride.
Oh,
Enjoy.
God. So, Toby's got a soundboard. Watch out.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Now,
Yes.
I'm not allowed to use it with anybody else, but here I am.
here you are. Woo! This is Zed Games, of course. I am Paul, and joining me are Peter and Toby. And it's time. It's time for a review for a game that 99% of our audience, maybe more, never heard of.
Nope.
But it's new
Awesome.
and it's cool. And I'm running the show, which means, of course, it's time to do an intro for reviews. This game has lots of pixels and maybe a joke or two. Oh! Hey! Okay.
Paul, my review of that needed more kazoo.
I mean, the outro still has to happen, and we're doing another review later.
Yep.
So
I don't have a kazoo nearby. I've got a didgeridoo.
can you play the didgeridoo?
Not with a moustache.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a lot of
There's a lot of
I have a lot of
questions and stuff to
questions now
unpack
about.
with
But anyway, Dr. Kazoo,
Gesundheit.
who I was not. There we go. I was not previously aware of. There are probably people in the audience that are calling me an idiot because Dr. Kazoo was a Spanish DJ, apparently quite large. And he sort of moved on from that. He sort of became a game developer. His first game was Ghosts and Goblins alternative with him and Deadmau5 in it. And I have heard of Deadmau5, but that's just because of his fancy hat.
Yeah,
it's just not
anybody with a mask, it just makes them that much more mysterious.
Yeah, it's not my scene. I mean, I imagine Dr. Kazoo being a Spanish DJ didn't wear a shirt and was quite attractive.
I could also see that.
Yeah, I can
may
see
be
that.
Googling this later.
So he's put on a shirt as far as I'm aware.
Okay.
But before I get into this review, I haven't even said the name. I'm not going to say the name yet.
Haven't mentioned at all.
No name for anyone yet out of here. I got a quote from Dr. Kazoo from someone else's review of the last game he made.
Okay.
But I thought it was very poignant.
Yep.
So that person's name was the Cooper's Corner, by the way. So I'll give reference to that person for ripping the quote
Thank you,
I
Coopers.
then ripped. Music has changed to a degree that I was unable to create anything that was fashionable and made me feel good with myself at the same time. So here we have a game called The Moons of Darcelon.
Epic name.
And I am going to swoon here as this game, if it had come out in, say, 1992 or something, would be on a list of greatest games ever made. And we would be currently writing stories about how The Moons of Darcelon still holds up as a great video game. But instead, it just came out. Yep. And it,
20th of April.
Yep. It bears some resemblance in some themes to Lemmings, both a little bit graphically as well. Some sort of design elements like Commander Keen, things
Very
like
much a
that.
Commander Keen aesthetic.
It has sort of some Abe's Odyssey sort of elements to it. But what we have is a side-scrolling
Earthworm Jim as well.
platformer.
That's another good
Actually, a little bit with the
Yeah.
way the landscape's formed. So we have a side-scrolling platformer, and the goal is you're a little spaceman, is to collect all the other spacemen in the level and get to the end.
Yep.
And what he has done over the development, which is 7 or 8 years, was just make a whole bunch of basic tools that work really well together. But in understanding them, can create chaos. So first you get a flashlight. Flashlight is just because none of the other spacemen can walk through the dark if they can't see. So you might have to go into a cave and just point a light at them and they're like, oh. Next up, you get a gun. A good old gun.
Yep.
Everyone's favorite.
Bang, bang.
Yep. This one's got at least lasers, so you can pretend it's less murdery.
Soundboard pew pew.
Good for killing aliens.
Couldn't find that fast enough.
Good for accidentally shooting your people you're trying to.
Yep.
And also good for destroying terrain.
Ah, terrain destruction. Nice.
So they also the next thing you get is a terrain creating gun.
Ah,
so that's Minecraft with guns.
Bit Terraria-ish, a little bit. Except they're bespoke levels. They're designed. It's all that, and each level is very good at adding a new element. You start with just like get some people, get to the end, start getting additional tools. You start finding areas that you can't get through. There's liquid physics that are in there. There's vehicles you can operate and pilot, and it's all done in a graphical style which. Probably closer to Lemmings, but with larger sprites.
Yeah.
But it is, I think it is an absolutely gorgeous game. As I look through it,
definitely has some retro feels to it.
There are actually 3D models in the game, but they've been rendered into 2D when they're displaying and using the correct color palette.
Yep.
So as far as you're aware, it's just because if you wanted something to look 3D, you would make it in 3D, then you just take a bunch of angles of it and render out the sprite. So this does have technically 3D models, but they look just like sprite
it's using
sheets.
a shader to go over the top to make it look in that specific style.
It's got that physics jank to everything, which whilst I've got a lot of praise for this game. I really am impressed by it. I think it's quite an achievement. It's definitely not a for everyone game, partly because when you're jumping at a box and that box can roll and you can fall down and that box can roll on top of you and kill you, or it could happen to one of the people you're trying to save, and all sorts of little things like that. But you very quickly become comfortable with the movement system and everything. There's a jetpack which has very nice, just the right amount of time you can use it before it overheats. And
does it have a grapple hook?
No grapple. But things can change. But the game's also kind of hilarious. So it has some very good controls of the other people. Sort of like I mentioned Abe's Odyssey before. You can tell them to follow me, stay here, go left, go right.
Yep.
They're your basic instructions. Just do it on the D-pad. I bet you can guess which one's which without me even telling you. But I haven't seen this in a game before. You can aim your call out. So as with the right stick where you might be aiming your laser, you can aim where you're going to yell. So you could I just want that guy to go to the left. It's so intuitive, so easy, just
directional audio ordering.
Yeah. Very unique and cool.
Yeah. It's definitely something I can't say I've ever seen or encountered in a game
and
before.
as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, of course. That makes sense. Very smart. But this is a love letter of someone that loved the 90s. And 80s and everything like that. So there's lots of references in it. Nothing too memey or anything. If you start pushing your guys around and they'll start complaining that we are not lemmings, stuff like that. And maybe my favorite thing is that it's just got voice synthesis in it. So everything's got this. It's not even trying to sound. It's just a robot voice. And it's just nice. Flashlight.
Very nice.
You've saved the day. That's not a quote, but that's fun. And so there were a few things just in there. Yeah. Voice commands, everything, ground destruction creation, physics. All the music is 8-bit music based specifically on the MLS 6581 SID chip, which is from 1982.
Okay.
The speech is also 8-bit. It's just and so it's got a CRT filter on, which I don't always like.
Okay.
Those things can be a bit... you can just customize, it kind of feels nice to deliberately make the game a bit blurry and interlace it.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they just zoom out and make it look really sharp and take away all the gimmicks, because it also looks good that way. But yeah, it is... I don't know where it's going to sit at the end of my year and top of games list, but it just came out of nowhere. I actually was only interested in it first because I often am just looking for music from games. I go like, hey, DJ man, the music's all right. And I think I said something to the publisher which was like, oh, do you know anything about the music? I don't know if I have time to review something like this. It'll probably be a few weeks or months. And then I said, nah, I'll do it next week. It's great. I like this game. Also, I've had to buy the OST this morning because it only released this morning. Yeah. Which means I can listen to it after this.
I was going to say, it looks like it's a sequel to another game as well, another one called Pillars of Darcelon.
Is it Pillars or Pilots?
Pilots, sorry.
Yes, Pilots
of Darcelon.
Yeah, so he did like an earlier game where you're flying a ship.
Yeah.
I have not played that yet, but it looks really up my alley because it's sort of like Lunar Lander-ish, jetpacky. Someone that obviously loves retro games. But as I said, like, if this game had come out in the period that it's going, it would... Like, there's nothing in it that couldn't have been done, really.
Yep.
It would be a classic that we would all know and reference.
Yeah.
But also a game that is completely fine to play today. It doesn't feel like it's dated. It's just made with love. It's... As long as it's an aesthetic you like, it is beautiful and it sounds great and it is funny and it's just full of variety. And it'll take you a good chunk of time to get through as well.
Yeah.
Probably... Well, none of that's got a built-in level editor and creator sharing.
Oh, I love that aspect of it.
There was nothing sharing when I played it because I was pre-release.
Yes.
But that should be live now. I just haven't had another chance to go in and see that. But really impressive package. And primarily one person. And I was pretty bugless as well, which was nice.
Yeah.
So that's when we do this.
Cool. For those that are interested, there is a free demo on Steam as well if you want to go and check it out.
Free demo was on Steam and still is!
Yeah.
That was a review.
Still no kazoo.
Yeah. I'm more of a buzzy bee. So that was the Moons of Darcelon.
Moons of Darcelon.
And nothing particularly like weird about that spelling or anything. So,
no.
And it's only on Steam. People have asked him about a console version. He's a single developer. He said, like, I'm definitely looking at it. Just give me 8 more years.
No. Just everybody go and check it out, play the demo, purchase the game, give him lots of money, and then he can go and make it on other systems.
He can hire someone to do it.
Like, this looks like a fantastic game that would go
TVs.
Great on Steam Deck or Switch or whatever the new PlayStation handheld is.
It already does well on Steam Deck. I can tell you that.
Yep. it looks like a good bit of fun to play on the go.
Yeah, it is. And actually, when I was saying that 99% people wouldn't have heard of it, some people may have because it is starting to get a little bit of that streamer credit.
Okay.
Because it has some built-in Twitch support. Yep. You can send messages and they come through in the game audio and stuff like that.
Awesome. Text-to-speech aspects.
And it's just like, because it has that little bit of jank, streamers love that.
A little bit of jank just makes the game so much fun, especially with the physics and things like that. You just know people are going to play around with that especially with the level editors and creators and stuff.
Exactly. There's Zed Games.
Yes.
My name's Paul. Joining me is
Peter.
And of course,
Tobi.
Oh gosh, he's had some problems.
Yep.
And,
have I gone now? What? Huh?
That is a kind of problem.
Yep.
Okay. I feel something creeping up on me. It's another review from me. It's a video game that's creepy, or is it? I don't know. Actually, I do because I'm reviewing it. Okay. Okay, now
there we go. Bit of a kazoo.
I'm going to really, really excite you with this beginning of this review, Peter.
Because
I'm going to start with the name of the game instead of like riffing for 5 minutes about DJs and stuff beforehand.
What's this game?
This game is called The Creepy Syndrome. And whilst I reviewed it on Steam, playing on a Steam Deck, it is available pretty much everywhere. Probably because it's quite a simple game. Creepy Syndrome is an anthology of smaller games. It's got a framing device of you talking to what appears to be some sort of psychiatrist, psychoanalyst. So it's not. There's no depth to that. This isn't a game about actual mental health.
Yep.
This is a game about a couple of short stories. First one being sort of a just walking simulator, but in this vein of like a grid-based old RPG where you're moving forward. It's like 1-bit color.
Yep.
Second one's top down. Reminds me of the ET game on Atari, actually, where you're a detective and that one is probably my favorite. It's the most robust. Third one is sort of using equipment, like you're in a bunker, like you've got to solve a few puzzles, a bit adventure gamey. And the last one's gets a bit more to sort of just like walking back and forth with walking simulator, a bit like Home, if anyone's played that little horror game.
Okay.
Now, this is actually going to be really short as a review because obviously these are 4 short stories and half of them, well, let's just say I beat the game 3 times.
Okay.
I played every single game story 3 times, and I probably haven't broken 2 hours on the Steam counter.
For the entirety of the 3 or each one?
For the entirety of the game.
Oh, okay. So really short.
So it's really short. Now, that doesn't mean bad.
No. Sometimes a well-crafted short experience is much better than a 20-hour long, this is drawn out with so many side quests.
And the one I was talking about was a bit more robust. The second one, I actually really enjoyed my time with that one.
Yep.
But
that's the top-down adventure.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Yep. Now, it reminded me of a similar game from a few years back, Stories Untold.
Okay.
Which was sort of the first notable, like, sort of big budget, but still mostly text adventure horror game. And it was an anthology. It was a bunch of stories, and you did different things. Like the first one, it was a creepy story about a house, and you were sitting at the house typing about the creepy story on your computer, but things were happening around you.
Rightio.
That game had a focus on writing. This game has a focus on atmosphere, which means the stories, they're, you know, we all have different tolerances for horror. I have an extremely high tolerance for horror. I
fall asleep.
I fell into it. Horror is just like... I love a lot of horror. It's a genre that I have worked in and do. I have like career history in horror.
Yeah.
But it's like a fun art form for me. Very few things creep me out. I would put this around Goosebumps level.
Okay.
It's not... It's going to take someone that's very sensitive to horror to actually be scared by anything in this game. And each of the games, and why I played it 3 times, has multiple endings. Only 2, though.
Yep.
My third playthrough was trying to see if I'd missed anything. I emailed the developer. I'm like, hey, have I got all the content yet? And they're like, oh, actually, there's just this one other thing. I'm like, okay, cool. Okay. I'll sort that out.
Yep.
So, yeah, whilst I enjoyed it, very, very short, it is something like, you know, if you had a spare afternoon and like something that just like a fun Goosebumpsy level with a bit of sort of retro game stuff around it, it's entirely functional and fun.
Yeah.
It sounds nice. But as I say, you're not going to get any revelation because it does a little bit of like, you tell these stories and then we'll tell you about yourself or something. It's not even going to give you. It's not even like a bad online test where it's like, and now here's what you asked. Like, which would be kind of funny, potentially dangerous, but funny.
Yeah.
So it's just very slight. But it's fine. But it did make me think about anthology games. And I was like, let's talk about that. That'll be a great segment for the show.
Okay.
And then I was thinking, of course, Untold Stories or Stories Untold. I always put the wrong way around. Now I've already forgotten. And then I realized there aren't. There are like series that are anthologies. Like you can go like the Dark Pictures or something.
Yeah.
But those games are all like 8 to 15 hours each. There's no like Tales from the Crypt. Just like, oh, we're going to bring in the Crypt Keeper and do a couple. No Twilight Zone-y stuff or anything like that, where it's like we're just going to have a couple of short stories in one episode. There's a little bit in interactive fiction.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's actually not that tapped. I was like, oh, I'm actually not an expert on this. I can't open up anyone's mind to there. But it is something I like because it's basically a reason to prototype stuff. Actually, one of the, I think it was Landfall, the people that made Human Fall Flat and Totally Accurate Battle Simulator.
Yeah.
They very recently released kind of an anthology, but not in that wrapping, just a package of like all their failed prototypes. Like,
I could definitely see that as an aspect and just putting some sort of narrative thread through them all, just to put in a few different prototypes, and that's very, from what I can see of the game here, sort of thing in regards to the art styles. They've tried a few different things just to see what works, and then put a bit of a story through it all.
This is like, and then we'll just put a psychologist at the front.
Yeah,
that's a story, right?
Yep.
Yeah, people have brains, and sometimes they tell stories. So I think that we all know what that means. You were more,
adequate amount of Kazoo there.
Yeah, you more like Freud or Jungian sort of.
Yeah. So, in regards to the Goosebump comment and part on this one sort of idea, who could you see playing this?
As in people?
Yeah.
Okay, you got people like me that are obsessed and have too many games.
Yep.
Actually, probably what I should do on that is also give you a basic idea of cost, because they got sent to me, so I don't know the cost.
Yeah, at the moment all it is an add to the wish list, so I can't see it.
Oh, gosh darn it. See, I'm very good at language on our show. Good times. Yeah, I can't imagine it's going to be particularly expensive. And if it was, as I say, it's less than an hour, and I was not rushing through content. I was just playing it like a normal person.
Yeah. In regards to game mechanics then, if it's like what I'm thinking is maybe it's like a baby's first horror game or something like that, what sort of mechanics do you think you'd need to know prior to playing this game in regards to being able to pick it up for the first time?
You need to be able to move a cursor and push 2 buttons.
Cool.
There are some puzzles there which are very standard, sort of like push the buttons to make them all go down.
Yep.
Some buttons make the other buttons go up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no real time-based events, not fast-moving content or otherwise.
There is some skill base in the first game.
Okay.
Beyond that, nothing. Yeah.
Cool.
Good time. So, this is Zed Games.
Yes.
I'm not Tobi or Peter, but I am Paul.
Yes, I am not Tobi or Paul. I am Peter.
And I am lost because I always forget people's names.
You're Tobi.
Yeah.
I'm Tobi. Okay, cool.
You're not Paul or Peter.
Plus, you get that little
I'm
bit
not
of
Paul, I'm not
delay, so, you know.
A little bit.
Yeah. It's something that perhaps a doctor in a creepy video game could diagnose.
Yeah, I think I'll leave that to the real
latency.
You'll seem to have in-bit latency.
Yes.
I always half a second behind everybody. It is.
Yes.
That could be deciphered as a very creepy thing to say, Tobi.
I have inbuilt latency.
No, I'm always half a second behind everybody.
Inevitable Tobi.
Yeah, no, that could be very creepy.
It's not inevitable snail anymore. It's inevitable Tobi.
No. We are drawing near the end of the episode.
I know.
I know Peter wanted to have a quick shout out to things that he's looking forward to coming up soon. What are you hankering for?
I am very keen on 2 games that they were listed during the news segment in regards to Jedi Survivor, out pretty damn soon from memory, and then also Redfall, the new vampire 4-player co-op shoot bang bang game.
But are you ready for the 150 gigabyte download for Jedi Survivor?
Yes. No, I am. I have cleared a hard drive for that one. Because my M.2 slot is very, very small space-wise, but I've cleared out some
and
space.
Physically. They're quite small slots.
Yes, they are.
What about you, Tobi? Anything on your radar?
No, I'm at the moment really enjoying going into EB Games, a game store, and just looking and going a generic game store and just looking and saying, is there anything that I haven't played yet? And then remembering that I got like 7 games at home that I bought recently that I still haven't played.
I got a publisher key the other day, which when I redeemed it, it just said generic game name for beta testing, which is also hilarious because it was for the new Kingdom of Loathing game that's been out for like 6 months. So
damn. Someone didn't update a beta code.
No. Good times. Anyway, that basically brings us to the end. Oh, and Zelda's coming out soon. That's all I need.
Yeah, Zelda. Tears of the Kingdom.
Probably Zelda. Pikmin 4.
Yeah, I'm not going to read a single preview about Zelda. Don't need to know. I know enough.
I played about 3 hours of Breath of the Wild, and I got it release day. It never grabbed me. I think it's a fantastic looking game.
Me too.
But
we'll have a rant about it another day.
Yes.
For now, this has been Zed Games.
It has.
April Atonement, send us your money and your love.
Yep.
In that order. Do what you want. We'll catch you all later, folks.
Yes. Enjoy.
Flip side.
Have a good night, guys.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, check out our podcast on Spotify.
Or follow us on social media at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.